Hello guys and welcome to another episode of Fantasy Fortunes. Now we're into game week 13 and things are starting to hot up just a little bit in the Premier League and both in the table. So let's have a look at that Mongolian Horses FC Challenge League. So as you can see then, it's still an MHFC player that leads the way in the form of Tom Legresley in first place. But Soccer Pro FC, he's been strong the last few weeks. Noticed him rising up the table. He's now in second place, just 20 or so points behind Tom Legresley. The big movers though this week, we see Ant with Fleetwood Town. 91 points for the boy this week. He's obviously got a lot of time sitting on that sofa with his bad knee of his and been making some very key decisions in his side. But also down there in fifth place, Jeffrey Boy, 94 points, up into fifth. So big point scorers. Let's see if we can get some more big points this week. And we have a Friday night fixture this week as well, so we've got to move quickly after the Champions League fixtures. The Friday night fixture is West Ham versus Leicester. Now fortunately I'm working Friday evening, so I'm not going to have to go along and painfully watch this game. I know a few of the other lads are at MHFC, so gutted at them really, but I don't know what Moyes is doing. I don't know what his plan is. I don't think it's going to be a particularly good game for West Ham, so therefore if you're going to put Leicester players in, obviously you've got the two main guys. You've got Riyad Mahrez and you've got Jamie Vardy. 8.4 and 8.6 million retrospectively. I reckon they could easily get a goal each in this game. I think it's got to be probably a 2-0 win to Leicester City. On to the weekend then, the first fixture of the weekend, we've got Crystal Palace playing at home to Stoke. Now there were plenty of goals in their fixtures last week. 4 in the Crystal Palace game and 3 at the Stoke City game. So I think there's going to be goals in this one as well. And each team, they've got their own key player. In Crystal Palace, it's in the form of Wilfried Zaha. Very solid, 6.7 million midfielder as well. Not too expensive. Slightly cheaper though, if you do want to go for a cheaper option, you haven't got that extra coin. You want to get Xherdan Shaqiri in there. 6 million flat, that's a very good rate for him. And he's been scoring a few goals and getting a few assists lately. So I think it's going to be a battle of who plays better out of those two is going to get the win in this one. I think it will be tight. Am I? No, I'm not. I've got a draw on this one. Next fixture then, we've got Man United playing at home to Brighton. And the main thing for all United fans out there, obviously Pogba's back and Zlats is back. I don't think Zlats is going to particularly play a lot of minutes in this game, but it just makes me really happy that Zlats is back playing football again. Such a quality player. No use him being on the sidelines there, and it was a real loss while he was out injured. So the fact that he's back in the Premier League is just great news. But when we're looking at Fantasy Fortunes and we are looking at points, the main point scorers you're going to get, Paul Pogba's back, everybody, and at only 8 million flat, bargain, get him in there. Obviously they look a completely different side with him in the team. They really missed him, so get him in there if you've got 8 million to spare before he goes up, because his price is just going to shoot up and up as he continues to get his fitness back and ring in the performances. And I think Pogba being back in the side, that's going to mean more goals for Romelu Lukaku. Obviously he got his first for quite a while in the Premier League against Newcastle, against Brighton at home. A good opportunity to carry on from that, get himself a couple here. Could be a potential captain's choice. 11.6 million though, that's the only downside. Very expensive, but if you've got the money, definitely worth getting him in there. Got to be easy 3-4-0 win for Man United. The next game is a game that I'm having a bit of difficulty to pick. Newcastle versus Watford. Normally I'd say Watford with edges, but Newcastle at home at St James's Park, or the Sports Direct Stadium, or whatever crap Ashley's called it nowadays. Yeah, they're a different kettle of fish, to be honest. They showed some good football in the first 20 minutes or so at the game against Manchester United before Man U really started to show their quality. The problem with Newcastle is that they don't really have anybody who's consistently scoring goals. Dwight Gale did look good against Manchester United. He is very inconsistent though. Their only consistent player so far this season has been Matt Ritchie. He is around the 6 million mark as well. Not too expensive, takes the free kicks, takes corners, so might be worth getting him in there for that. But I'm going to back Watford for this one. I think Richarlison, I still can't even say that properly, Richarlison, and nobody's even put me right. I'd really appreciate some help on how to say that name. But I reckon he's going to be the key player in this game. 6.4 million as well. Cheap as chips for a player that gets as many opportunities in a game as this one. I think it's going to be a very tight game. It's got to be Watford though, or a draw for me. Moving on then to Tottenham playing at home against West Brom. Now I thought it was very harsh in sacking Tony Pulis after a 4-0 loss to Chelsea. I mean, that can happen to any team in the Premier League. Even the top 6 sides can easily get turned over by one of the other top 6 sides. So I thought that was a bit harsh, still just above the relegation zone. And yeah, I think he's a very good manager. I wish that West Ham would have waited a bit longer and found out he was available and got him in instead of David Moyes, to be honest, because I think I just don't trust David Moyes to do anything that's good. But we're not talking about West Ham, we're talking about Tottenham versus West Brom. And I think, unfortunately for West Brom, this kind of sacking at this time in the season is not going to go very well for them, because playing away to Tottenham after they're going to be buoyed by their midweek performance against Dortmund, it could be quite a difficult day for West Brom, really. Obviously, when you're looking at Tottenham, you've got Harry Kane, scored a goal midweek. He looks like he's coming back from his injury well now. And in the midfield, Christian Eriksen is your danger man there. So you're looking at 12.8 million for Harry Kane. Very, very expensive. I'm not going to lie, he could easily score 4 goals in this game, but in terms of the other strikers you've got in the Premier League, in Lukaku, Gabriel Jesus, Alvaro Morata, I'm seeing a lot more value in their prices, and obviously you save yourself a couple of million if you get one of those in as well. 12.8 million, I'm not entirely sure that he's worth it, but I mean, obviously he could score a goal at any minute, and he is going to be Tottenham's main guy. If you've got him in your team, I'd say obviously keep him in for this game. I don't think he's worth shuffling around to get him in though, purely for this game alone. But saying that, it's still got to be a comfortable Tottenham win. The final 3 o'clock kickoff then, we've got Swansea playing at home to Bournemouth, and I think this is going to be quite a difficult day again for Swansea. They've really struggled to show any form of consistency, home or away, and now Tammy Abraham is injured, their real spark. He's got about a 50% chance for saying on the Fantasy Premier League website, so you'd have to count him out of this one, really. And without him, they're really going to struggle with any kind of forward impetus. And Bournemouth as well, obviously they put plenty of goals away last weekend at home, it must be said, but that was with 10 men. Callum Wilson back inside, got himself a hat-trick, and off the back of that performance, he could quite easily get 2 or 3 more in this one. I reckon he's going to cause the Swansea back 4 all kinds of trouble. So the only player that I would say definitely worth putting in for this fixture is going to be Callum Wilson. Only 6 million as well. He's a snip up top for a guy that has shown qualities that are worthy of getting in the England side, in fairness, if he manages to keep his fitness. So 6 million, I say definitely worth him getting in there. I'm going to go for a Bournemouth away win. And the big game of the weekend then, the late kickoff on Saturday, we've got Liverpool at Anfield playing against Chelsea. I think this will be a very good game. I think it's going to be a nice high tempo game. I don't think it's going to be a game where Chelsea are going to sit and look for the 1-0 win. Liverpool, obviously, they're going to want to win at home. They feel that they should be winning every single game they play at home. Their main issue, obviously, is conceding goals. Midweek against Sevilla, obviously 3-0 up at half-time, absolutely collapsed. Shocking from set pieces, as they have been all season. And I think this could be their undoing in that game. Obviously, you've got the attacking threat of Firmino, Salah, Coutinho, Mane, which, don't get me wrong, is absolutely amazing. But can they outscore the opponents every single week? Unfortunately, I'm not sure they can, especially when you look at Chelsea. 4-0 last week against West Brom. Away fixture, admittedly, against Karabag in the Champions League, but they've rested a lot of players. Obviously, that's not going to be the most strenuous performance, so you're expecting that all their players are going to be fit and ready to go. And especially when you look at set pieces, and Chelsea have got the likes of Alvaro Morata, who is just so good in the air. I think Liverpool will definitely struggle. Obviously, Hazard as well got himself a couple of goals and an assist against West Brom. He's looking like he's back to some kind of his best form after being a bit hit and miss this season. But if those two are playing well together and those two are linking up, then I think this is going to be a reasonably comfortable win for Chelsea come the end of the game on Saturday. So obviously the main players, if you're looking at Liverpool, you can only go for Mohamed Salah, 9.6 million. I think he's going to have a tricky day, but against his old club, we all know what can happen. There's ample opportunity for him to get a goal in this one. So I think Liverpool will create chances, but they're going to concede their fair few, and if they're going to concede goals, it's going to be some form of link-up between Eden Hazard and Alvaro Morata. Now, Alvaro Morata, 10.5 million. I think that's cheap for him, especially when you look at, you're paying 2.3 more for Harry Kane. I think Morata is worth every bit that Kane is worth, so 10.3, he's definitely a bargain at that price. Eden Hazard, he's a little bit more expensive, 10.6, but still that's not that bad. Don't get me wrong, he's no Kevin De Bruyne, but he does create a lot, and he plays in a slightly more attacking position than KBD, Kevin De Bruyne, KDB would. So, yeah, I think they're your 2 best options. I know he's a very expensive option, but if you've got a bit of money to spend on a midfielder, Eden Hazard definitely worth it this weekend. I'm going to go for an away win, Chelsea. Moving on to the Sunday then, and the first game, we've got Southampton playing at home to Everton, and this just does not excite me whatsoever. I'm saying stay well clear away from this game, because there's nobody on either side with any form, any kind of consistency whatsoever, and I don't think there's going to be many points scored in this game. It could be another potential 0-0, or Southampton sneak it 1-0 in my books, but stay away from it. It's boring. The second fixture on the Sunday then, and we've got Arsenal playing away at Burnley. Now obviously Arsenal were very dominant and easily deserved their win in the North London derby last weekend. An away trip to Burnley could be a bit of a stumbling block for them, but I've got to think they've got to push through with that form, and I think it could be a comfortable win for them. Obviously this is actually a top 7 fixture now in the Premier League, because Burnley have been doing very well, but they've not been shutting out teams at home like they used to. They used to be very solid defensive there. They are leaking a few goals, and I think Arsenal, with that front three of Sanchez, Lacazette and Ozil, if they play the same way they did against Tottenham, then they should comfortably come away with the win. When you're looking at the prices for those players, Ozil, he's in there around the 9-10 million mark. Alexis Sanchez, a lot more expensive, 11.8 million you've got to pay for him. Lacazette up top, he's only 10.3 million. So Lacazette, I think, is probably the best option in that, if you've got the money and a spare striking slot, because I really rate him. I think he's been a great player, and like I said in previous episodes, the amount of money they spent on him, he's got to be playing 90 minutes every single week really, and if he can link up with Sanchez, and those two could really cause trouble. So they're the two key ones I would say, Sanchez and Lacazette, but obviously Lacazette the cheaper option, comfortable win, 2-0 I'm going Arsenal. The final fixture of game week 13 then, and we see Man City playing away to Huddersfield. Now I don't think the result is ever in question in this one. It's going to be a comfortable away win for Man City, but the whole question you always have with Man City is who is going to play. Now we've had a Champions League fixture midweek, and that gives a bit of an insight into the team that Pep is going to be picking this weekend. Sane was left out, Gabriel Jesus was left out, Kevin De Bruyne did start, but he's going to start every single game for them this season if he is fully fit, because the whole team is just built around him. And then just got little flair players really that you just put around the edge, he'll find them, they'll score, and there's your win. So he will be starting. There's no doubt in my mind that obviously he will be starting the game this weekend. 10.1 million you're paying for him, but he's so worth it, in the conversation for one of the best players in the world right now, and definitely the best midfielder in my opinion at the minute on this planet Earth. The other players you got, Sane was rested, so I think he's going to definitely be starting. 8.8 you're paying for him. Very good goal scorer so far this season, and getting assists from that left wing position. And then Sergio Aguero captained the side in the Champions League this week. Gabriel Jesus came on for Kevin De Bruyne, played about 20 minutes. So you've got to be imagining that Gabriel Jesus is going to get a start as well. 10.5 for him. He is not that expensive when you look at some of the other people, but like I said, he's not going to be playing every single week, so he's a player that you're going to have to bring in and out of your team, swapping him about every now and then, which is a little bit of hassle. Other players, David Silva, only about 8.2 million for him. He's another player who will be playing very consistently in this Man City side, and always capable of popping up with a goal and an assist, and he is the cheaper option, like I said, at 8.2 million. So there are your options, Man City, but like I said, most weeks you can chuck in any Man City player you want, and you're going to do alright, let's face it. So a comfortable away win for Man City. It's got to be 3-0 in my books. So the final thing to look at then, as with every episode, is the captain's pick. Now obviously this is where we give you the choice of 2 or 3 players who we think are going to be the best point scorers of the game week, and you guys get to vote on who you think is the best choice for captain for Fantasy Premier League of the game week. Now there's so many people that we could have picked this weekend. You've got Kane, Christian Eriksen, Pogba, Lukaku, Hazard, Salah, Alvaro Morata, Kevin De Bruyne, Leroy Sane, Gabriel Jesus. I mean, it's just ridiculous how many good players there are in the Premier League at the minute. But we have narrowed it down to 3, and we favoured Man U in this one, but we've gone with 2 midfielders, which is obviously a bit of a risky choice. Now there's 3 selections you've got this week. You've got Pogba, you've got Lukaku, and you've got Kevin De Bruyne. Now obviously 3 players in the world's elite. You've got Manchester United playing at home to Brighton with Paul Pogba back on the side, Zlatan Ibrahimovic as well. The squad are definitely on a high. There's definitely a better feeling in that dressing room, and they are showing it out on the pitch, especially the likes of Paul Pogba, who's very much a confidence player. Only 8 million as well, so he's the cheapest person by far on this list, and he's been scoring a lot more goals and getting a lot more assists this season than he has done previously, so he's got to be a great shout. Then again, we look at Lukaku, obviously a man who's expected to score goals in every single game. He hadn't been doing recently until Paul Pogba came back into the side. So their link up is going to be really key to the Manchester United performance. But if Lukaku is going to score goals, Pogba will probably be assisting them, and vice versa. So it's a pick of what you want in that one. Obviously, Lukaku offers a little bit more going forwards in that striking position. Obviously very good in the air as well. And then we move on to Kevin De Bruyne, who is just out of this world at the minute, ridiculous, and some of the goals he's scoring as well, especially on his weaker left foot. If that's his weaker foot, that is scary how good those finishes have been. Obviously his passing ability is second to none as well. 10.1 million as well. So he's in the middle of Pogba and Lukaku in terms of price. And away fixtures to Huddersfield, he could just toy with those Huddersfield players who, let's face it, will not have faced many players like Kevin De Bruyne before. So they're the 3 picks for you this week. Have a little vote up in the poll on the top right hand corner there. Let me know what you think and we'll see if you can get it right. So that is it then for game week 13 of Fantasy Fortunes. As always, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you do enjoy these videos, and share your opinion with us. Let us know if you think we've missed out any key players, got any of our predictions wrong, and if you think there's someone else who should be in that discussion for captain's pick this week. Like I said, a lot of football coming up. We've got midweek fixtures in the Premier League as well, so we'll be out with another episode on Monday giving you our opinions for those Tuesday and Wednesday fixtures. A lot of big point scorers in the league as well, things really tightening up at the top of that MHFC challenge table. For us, it's on to the next one.